You're doing everything right on your GLP-1. You're hitting your protein target, you're tracking, you're being consistent. And yet your energy is low. The scale is slower than it should be, and you're losing muscle when you shouldn't be. Here's what most people never hear. The problem isn't how much protein you're eating. It's how much your body is actually absorbing. And those are two completely different numbers. So if that sounds familiar, keep watching, because once you understand why this happens, you'll know exactly what to fix. Hi, I'm Ivana, patient care coordinator here at Regenics, and this is honestly one of the conversations I have with women almost every week. You're doing the work, and your body still isn't cooperating. Today, we're going to talk about exactly why that happens and 5 practical things you can start doing differently right away. So let's get into it. The hidden problem. When you eat 90 grams of protein, you are not really absorbing 90 grams of protein. And the sad part is, you're not even close to that number. The amount of protein you consume and the amount your body can actually use are two completely different things. And the gap between those two numbers is exactly where most women on GLP-1s are quietly losing progress without realizing it. What makes this even more important for us is that GLP-1 medications reduce your appetite, which means you're already eating less than before. So if what you are eating isn't being absorbed efficiently, that gap gets even wider. And your muscles, your metabolism, your energy, they all feel it. Now, before we get into why absorption fails, I want to make sure you're working with the right target to begin with, your real protein target. There's still a lot of outdated information out there. The old formula you might have seen, 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight, that's actually a disease prevention number. It's the minimum to avoid deficiency. It's not what supports your muscle, your metabolism, or your energy on GLP-1. The modern standard uses 1.6. Here's how to calculate it. Take your weight in pounds, divide it by 2.2, then multiply that number by 1.6. That gives you your daily protein target in grams. To give you a sense of what that looks like in real life, if you weigh 125 pounds, you need about 90 grams a day. At 150 pounds, that's around 109 grams. And at 175 pounds, you're closer to 127 grams. One more thing to keep in mind, as your weight changes on GLP-1, go back and recalculate. Your target changes with you. Now, even when you're hitting that number every day, your body may not be using all of it. So let's talk about why. Why absorption fails. Reason 1. The source matters more than the label. Not all protein absorbs equally. There's actually a scoring system that measures how digestible different protein sources are. And animal proteins consistently score higher than plant proteins. That doesn't mean plant protein is bad at all. It just means 30 grams of lentils is not the same as 30 grams of chicken in terms of what your body can actually use. If you're using plant-based, you simply need more, and more variety. The amino acid that matters most here is leucine. Leucine is the trigger for muscle protein synthesis. Without enough of it, your body can't build or maintain muscle. Eggs, chicken, fish, dairy, and whey protein are all rich in leucine. If you're plant-based, tofu, edamame, and lentils are your best options, and you'll want to be really intentional about including them at every meal. Reason 2. Some plant proteins can actually block their own absorption. This one surprises a lot of people. Certain plant-based proteins contain natural compounds called anti-nutritional factors, and those compounds interfere with digestion. For example, trypsin inhibitors found in soybeans and legumes can reduce protein absorption by up to 50%. Tannins in cereals and legumes can cut it by 23%. Again, this isn't a reason to avoid plant protein. It's a reason to be strategic about it and to understand that hitting the same gram target on a plant-based diet genuinely requires a different approach. Reason 3. Your gut microbiome is running the show. Your gut bacteria play a direct role in how well you break down and absorb protein. Think of some people as natural super absorbers, and others, particularly those dealing with gut imbalances, chronic stress, or a history of restrictive dieting, as having a system that needs a little more support. This is why fiber, fermented foods, and hydration aren't separate from your protein conversation. Reason 4. How you cook your protein changes what you actually get from it. Certain high-heat cooking methods can break down amino acids before your body even has a chance to use them. As a general rule, gentler preparation like poaching, slow cooking, or light grilling tends to preserve more of what your body needs. Reason 5. And this one is especially important for any woman watching who is over 40. Your age changes the equation in a significant way. Research shows that in older adults, the amount of protein that actually enters your bloodstream and becomes available for use is measurably lower than in younger adults. Not slightly lower, but measurably lower. There's also something called anabolic resistance. As we age, our muscle becomes less responsive to the protein signal. Think of it like knocking on a door where the person inside is hard of hearing. You have to knock louder and more often to get the same response. In practical terms, that means more protein, better quality sources, and resistance training to amplify that signal. Then add in the estrogen decline that comes with perimenopause and menopause. Estrogen directly supports muscle building activity in the body, so when it drops, that process slows down too. All of this is why the protein conversation for women over 40 on GLP-1 medications is genuinely different from the general advice you'll find online. The 5 fixes. So with all that in mind, here are 5 things you can start doing today, not just to eat more protein, but to actually absorb more of it. Fix number 1, distribute it, don't dump it. Eating 100 grams of protein in one sitting is not the same as spreading that across the day. Your body can only put so much to use at once. Aim for around 30 grams of protein at each meal rather than trying to hit your whole target at dinner. Fix number 2, prioritize leucine at every meal. You're aiming for about 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine per meal. Eggs, Greek yogurt, fish, chicken, and cottage cheese are great sources. If you're plant-based, lean on edamame, tofu, and lentils, and consider a high-quality protein powder to help fill in the gaps. Fix number 3, eat even when you're not hungry. I know, on GLP-1 this feels really counterintuitive, but here's the reality. Your biological need for protein doesn't disappear just because your appetite did. Think of it like filling your car with gas before it runs out, not after. You may need to schedule protein into your day rather than waiting until you feel hungry enough to eat it. Your muscles have no idea your medication lowered your appetite. Fix number 4, support your digestion intentionally. Chronic stress shuts digestion down. Alcohol impairs it. A short walk after a meal helps move things along. Drinking enough water throughout the day keeps your system running. These aren't extras. They're directly tied to how much protein your body can actually process. Your gut health is your absorption rate. Fix number 5, time your protein around movement. If you're doing resistance training, and I really do encourage you to, there's roughly a 2-hour window after your workout where your muscles are primed to absorb and use protein most effectively. You don't have to be obsessive about it, but being intentional about getting some protein in that window absolutely makes a difference. If you've been frustrated that your results aren't matching your effort, this is very likely part of why. It wasn't your discipline, it wasn't your consistency, it was a gap in information that nobody gave you. And that is so common with our patients at Regenics because the nutrition conversation doesn't stop at eat more protein. That's just where it starts. If you want to take this further, your blood work can show exactly where your absorption and metabolism may be working against you. That's one of the first things we look at in our personalized panels at Regenics. The link is below if you want to learn more. And if this was helpful, go ahead and subscribe because the next video in this series is one you'll want to watch. We're talking about the hidden reason muscle loss happens on GLP-1 and how to stop it. It connects directly to everything we covered today. I'm Ivana. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.